The late afternoon light spills across the floor, turning the living room into a vast golden savanna. Behind the sofa, the toddler drops into a crouch. Beside them, the tricolor puppy and the white-orange kitten press their bellies flat against the carpet, mimicking the stillness of predators. The toddler raises a hand, holding a finger to their lips, and whispers to the empty air, "Target acquired." In this space, the rug is no longer fabric. It is tall, swaying grass. The squeaky toy sits 10 feet away, a motionless beast of the wild, waiting for the strike. The puppy shifts, claws clicking softly against the floorboards as it adjusts its stance. The kitten follows, eyes locked on the prize, tail twitching in a rhythmic, calculated arc. Every muscle in the room is coiled, waiting for the signal. The toddler breathes slowly, watching the distance narrow. They are silent, focused, and entirely committed to the hunt. The air feels heavy with the weight of the imaginary expedition. Nothing else exists outside this small tactical circle. The toddler leans forward, shifting their weight to the balls of their feet, ready to bridge the gap between the sofa and the beast. The advance begins. The puppy inches forward, belly fur, brushing the rug in a slow, rhythmic slide. Every movement is deliberate, calculated to avoid waking the beast. The kitten follows, arching its back with theatrical stealth, paws patting silently over the fibers. The toddler leads the way, creeping forward on hands and knees, eyes never leaving the squeaky toy. They move as a single synchronized unit, navigating the open expanse of the floor. The silence is absolute, broken only by the soft, ragged breathing of the puppy and the faint rustle of the kitten's tail against the fabric. They are halfway to the target when the floor beneath the toy shifts. A sudden shrill squeak erupts, piercing the quiet of the room. The trio stops instantly. They freeze, limbs locked in mid-motion, eyes wide and fixed on the toy. The puppy flattens its ears against its head. The kitten drops to its belly, pupils dilating in the sudden surge of adrenaline. The toddler holds their breath, hand hovering inches above the carpet. The rug changes. The fibers turn into a bubbling, glowing river of molten lava. Heat ripples distort the air, shimmering above the orange surface. The toddler recognizes the danger instantly. They scramble upward, stepping onto a nearby cushion, then another, treating the furniture like islands in a sea of fire. The puppy follows, but its paws lose traction on the smooth fabric. It slips, claws scrabbling frantically against the cushion edge, sliding toward the edge of the imaginary abyss. The kitten leaps gracefully, landing on a firm pillow. But the puppy is not as steady. It whines, legs splaying as it begins to tip. The toddler reaches back, fingers locking firmly onto the puppy's soft paw. With a grunt of effort, they pull the pup upward, hauling it onto the safety of the cushion. They huddle together, panting, looking down at the shimmering orange expanse below. The danger is real enough to them. They move in a line, hopping from one cushion to the next, maintaining their balance with exaggerated care. The toddler keeps a hand on the puppy's neck, guiding it through the treacherous terrain. They are a team, navigating the impossible. They reach the edge of the rug, the final stretch of their journey. The toddler plants a foot on the hardwood, signaling safety. But the air changes. A massive shadow stretches across the floor, long and dark, swallowing the light. It moves with a heavy rhythmic thud that vibrates through the floorboards. The trio stops. The toddler looks up, eyes widening. A giant enters the room. The perspective shifts, turning the familiar space into a canyon of towering furniture. The toddler drops to the ground, pressing their chest against the cool wood. The puppy tucks its head beneath the toddler's arm. The kitten flattens itself into a ball, disappearing into the shadows. They turn into statues. No one blinks. No one breathes. The giant pauses, head turning slowly, scanning the corners. The toddler watches the giant's feet, heart hammering. Then the giant turns. The footsteps retreat. The shadow shrinks. The giant exits. The toddler exhales, a quiet sound of relief. The coast is clear. The toddler pushes up from the floor, shaking off the stillness. They look to the puppy and the kitten, offering a sharp, silent nod. The mission is back on. They move across the hardwood, keeping low, using the legs of the dining chairs as cover. The kitchen looms ahead, a vast tiled expanse that feels colder and more exposed than the living room. They reach the base of the cabinet. To the toddler, the kitchen counter is a sheer cliff face, a vertical wall rising toward the ceiling. They call it the Mountain of Peak. High above, resting on the granite surface, sits the objective, a golden cookie. It catches the afternoon light, glowing like a relic of immense value. The toddler circles the base of the counter, searching for a handhold. The puppy whines, pacing in a small circle, its claws clicking softly on the tiles. The kitten leaps onto a low stool, testing the height, its tail twitching with anticipation. The toddler finds a small gap in the cabinet molding. They grip the edge, pulling their weight upward. The ascent begins. They are focused, eyes locked on the prize, ignoring the distance to the floor. The toddler stretches a hand upward, fingers brushing the cool granite of the counter. The cookie is inches away. Then, a sharp crimson light strikes the floor. It pulses once, twice, and then begins to dance. The toddler freezes, hands still extended toward the mountain peak. The kitten sees it first. Its pupils snap wide, locking onto the glowing red speck. With a sudden coiled spring, the kitten launches itself from the stool. landing hard on the floor. It pounces claws, skittering across the hardwood, but the dot zips away, vanishing under the sofa. The kitten scrambles, back arched, tail puffed, sliding into the cushions. The red light reappears on the wall, climbing higher. The kitten follows, scrambling over the armrest in a blur of fur and frantic energy. It tumbles, landing in a heap of pillows, but immediately rights itself to chase the elusive target again. The dot zips across the floor, zigs through the legs of the dining chairs. The kitten is a whirlwind of motion, leaping, twisting, and sliding. It misses the mark by a fraction of an inch, crashing into the fabric of the sofa. The red dot darts across the floorboards, leading the kitten into a series of acrobatic tumbles over the cushions. The puppy joins the fray, its paws splayed wide as it slides uncontrollably across the polished hardwood, crashing into the sofa base with a muffled thud. It scrambles to regain footing, tongue lolling, caught in the momentum of the chase. The toddler stands in the center of the rug, spinning in tight, dizzying circles, arms outstretched, laughing as the light zips past their toes. Every movement is frantic, a blur of fur and limbs against the backdrop of the living room. The camera shifts, panning toward the doorway. Dad stands there, his hands steady, the small laser pointer held between his fingers. A wide grin spreads across his face as he maneuvers the beam, flicking his wrist to make the dot jump and dance. The chaos reaches its peak. The kitten leaps into the air, back legs kicking, missing the dot by a mere inch before landing in a heap of tangled limbs. The puppy skids past, sliding on its side, unable to stop its forward momentum. The toddler spins faster, eyes bright, caught in the rhythm of the game. The entire room is a whirlwind of unbridled household madness. The red light flickers once and then vanishes, leaving the room in sudden heavy stillness. The kitten flops onto the rug, chest heaving, its legs splayed in total surrender. Beside it, the puppy collapses, tongue lolling out, eyes blinking slowly as the adrenaline fades. The silence is broken only by the sound of heavy, rhythmic breathing. Mom and Dad walk into the center of the space. They reach down, scooping the toddler into a secure shared embrace. Together, they move toward the couch and settle into the cushions, forming a tangle of limbs, soft fur, and quiet sighs. Dad reaches into a pocket and produces the golden cookie, breaking it into small, uneven pieces. He hands a fragment to the toddler. Outside, the sky darkens and rain begins to tap rhythmically against the glass panes. The living room deepens into a soft amber haze as the afternoon light wanes. Shadows stretch across the carpet, lengthening until they touch the legs of the sofa. The toddler remains nestled in the center of the pile, limbs relaxed, but their eyes stay wide and alert. They shift slightly, pulling away from the warmth of the group just enough to catch the light from the window. The toddler turns their head, locking eyes directly with the lens. A sharp, knowing glint sparks in their gaze. They lean forward, pressing their lips close to the air, and whisper a single clear command. Next mission. The effect is instantaneous. The puppy's ears snap upward, pivoting toward the sound. The kitten's pupils dilate, turning into black saucers that track movement in the dimming room. Every muscle in their small frames tightens, ready to spring. The camera pulls back, drifting slowly across the rug, moving past the discarded crumbs of the cookie. It comes to rest in the very center of the floor. The squeaky toy sits there, motionless and unassuming, bathed in the last remnants of the sun. The quiet is not an end, but a pause. The adventure is already coiling, ready to snap into motion. The cycle is absolute.